Hello. Hello. My name's Janice. This is going to be my first video. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick get ready with me. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So, you can tell I am not a professional at this. Okay, I am not. However, I am going to try my best because makeup is a passion of mine. It's been a passion of mine for a long time. I am 35 years old. 36. I'm 36 years old. Whoa. Anyway, so we are going to start doing some stuff first. I always prime my skin. I'm going to use the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. I am very oily. Okay, and I tend to be even more oily in my T-zone. So we're going to start there. What made me want to start doing videos? I do live videos on a Facebook group that I created, and that is makeup tips and tricks with Janice and friends. So I've been wanting to upload videos for a very long time. However, I do not know how to edit. So you're going to see full everything. So that's going to be tremendous. But I tend to prime. All of my stuff is here on my vanity. This is my beauty room that you're in currently. I don't have the special lighting. However, I am in front of a direct window, which is fantastic for the makeup situation. I now am going to use this here. This is by Essence. This is my Skin Perfector Tinted Primer. This literally is a little bit of a blurring, but it has a tint to it. So you can see. So what I tend to do is I literally put it where my pores are the biggest and then everywhere else. And as you can see, I have a nose ring and a stud here. I tend to go around that pretty good. And then I'm going to start patting this in. Notice I don't go in my eye situation under here. That will get situated with a concealer. So we're going to tap that in. Make sure. Now I have my mirror over here. I cannot do anything with a straight on mirror. I don't know why. I've just taught myself to look this way because my little mirror is on that side. That's how I do lives too. Okay, so we have that blended. I tend to go in with brows next. People who don't do the brows first, I don't know how they understand it. I don't understand how they get to where they are. So what I tend to do, I have started to do my brows a little differently. I used to do a pencil, powder. I still do those things too. I just don't do those as often as I used to. So we are going to use Essence Make Me Brow in the shade Brownie Brows and the Arches and Halo Fine Bristle Tip Brow Shaping Pen in the shade, I think this is dark brown. Yes. Neutral brown, actually. So I need to get dark brown, actually. So we'll get the dark brown out. There we go. Okay. So now what I tend to do is just fill in my brows with this. So I will move you over just a tiny hair so you can see what's going on. Let me flick my hair out. My hair is probably going to be the least thing you'll ever see me do. If you see me with a different hairstyle, it's probably going to be very quick. Because I have naturally curly hair. So I don't tend to do my hair often. Lots of curly products so it doesn't get crazy. But naturally curly hair, we kind of do have a good way of doing things sometimes if it works out. Okay. So I'm just going to bring this through my brows. And I kind of go a little messy with it, I'm not going to lie to you. But I just want all my brows, but I do want some of that tint to go on to my actual face or skin. Because it's going to kind of take place of the other products. But I want it to really get into the hair. Or non-existence of. I have thin eyebrows, but I don't really have thin eyebrows. I have more light eyebrows. They tend to look more blonde on the tail of it. You know, don't ask me these things. I don't know what's happened, but. So if you're messy, that's okay. So now I'm going to go in with my brow little pin. And I'm going to kind of make it a little darker. And I tend to put my finger on my. And I just kind of like flicking hair-like strokes. As hair-like as I can make it. And then other times, I'm just going to get as close to my, I would say, sparse areas. Especially the lighter areas, which is the tail end. And you see, it's not that, you know, nice and neat. And that's okay. And that's okay. What we want really is to get the brow look going first. Go in, same concept. This brow on my left hand side grows down. The hair tends to face down. So, now problem areas with my skin: big pores, oily, and I tend to have a lot of redness, and I have psoriasis. So I have psoriasis patches now on my eyelids and then underneath here. So you'll see that they kind of cling differently to eyeshadows. It's not the eyeshadow's fault. It is the psoriasis. So now I tend to get a little bit more, I want to say flare-ups, but yes, I guess I'm going to say flare-ups. In the winter, it's more dry. And you would think, because I have oily skin, that psoriasis wouldn't be an issue. You would think. Not the case. So now, that's pretty much what I'll do my brows. I'm going to take a little brush, this little brush right here. I'm going to go ahead and put mine. I use this a lot. This is the Photo Focus Stick Foundation. This is in the shade Buff Beige. I will go in and just use a little bit of this to clean it up. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting real close to you on this side. But I really want to kind of get away from, oh, excuse me. That's my area of masks. I want to try to get away from the light so I can actually see my brow. Especially on this side. This side gives me the most problem. Because it does kind of go down. You can see on the top of my brow, that's kind of where it's at. Get out of that little fuzzy. But that's okay. I mean, we just kind of fake it till we make it, right? Total say. And then, like, if I want to clean this up on the top, like if I feel like, what I tend to do is I just kind of tap it in. Like, I don't really do a lot of swiping. I don't want a lot of pigment on the top of my brows, because that's the hardest place to, like, get the pigment, like, actually blended in without taking your brow off. And I don't use pomades or anything like that. I have a couple of them, but they're not my favorite to use. They get a little too thick for my liking. So I tend to just kind of use a more naturally looking brow. I mean, it's gonna, as long as they look like sisters, that's okay. I don't care if they're not twins. It's not my forte to be a twin maker over here. I just want to make sure they look related. That's main goal. So I'm going to take this here and I'm going to cover my little spot up as well. There we go. So we're going to be done with that. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to use this as our primer. Now, I tend to use a concealer or something of that nature for my primers, just because it's just easier for me. I have bases from, like, I think they're from Color City Color, maybe? Or no, Beauty Creation, sorry. This is the liners, but these are like the bases. But I don't tend to wear a lot of bases because I tend to set them. So I set anything that goes onto my eye as a primer because I am oily. So my lids will crease like a crazy person's crease. Like it, no matter, I mean, what, just wait. I just tapped this foundation in. It's not like I'm using a ton. I'm using my ring finger to put them all the way up to my brow to get a clean slate. You'll also see my psoriasis patches will cling to that foundation. And that's okay. That's another reason I will set as well. So, I'll rub this in. I should get a baby wipe. That's what I use to take all makeup off. Anyway, around my eyes, not my whole face. No, wash your face. Wash your face. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my eye makeup. Now, I tend to use a powder foundation or just a clear powder. It's fine. Or you can use like a shadow that's your shade. Maybelline. Actually, you know what? That's what I will do. I'll use the Maybelline single shadow in the shade Linen. There we go. So, right away you'll see I already start creasing. So we're going to tap that out. You'll see my psoriasis right about there. That's not going to change. It's going to be there. So sorry if that bothers anybody. Just what it is. So I will take a flat brush and I'm going to load that brush up with my Linen shade. And I'm going to press this in all the way up to my brow, but mostly into that crease area because that's where I don't want it to crease. So we're going to tap out anything that may need to be tapped out. There we go. Loaded it up, and then we're going to go ahead and tap it in. So psoriasis here, my eyes tend to be my most troublesome. They make my eyelids look very red. They tend to itch. I also have it in my scalp here on in my actual hairline. That's where you'll see it the most in like videos. But it is what it is. I still put makeup on. It doesn't irritate it anymore or any less. So it's not like it's going to cause a problem if I put makeup over it. It literally is what it is at this point. So, all right, so we're going to put that brush away. So today I think we're going to do a nice, simple, if I can open my drawer. I have multiple palettes. However, I am going on a no spending because I have so much makeup that is, anyway, so I think we're going to use the Juvia's Place, the Culture Explorer palette. Okay. Because I absolutely love this palette. And my God, Juvia's Place. If you don't have shadows by them or any type of makeup by them, you must get them. Because they are I mean, stunning. And they're stunning on all skin types, on all skin tones. Literally like a dream. They're beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a nice, simple brown, everyday look. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the shade Talking Drums, which is this shade right here. We're going to use that as our transition shade, which is going to be what all other colors will go up on top of. Okay, so I got a nice fluffy brush. This is my favorite brush of all time. I probably should get rid of it soon. Never going to happen. Okay, this is from BH Cosmetics, and it came with a like set of brushes, like that was in like a artist palette or a pouch. And no, if I do any other blending with the first transition shade, it just doesn't work right. This one is a little pokey, not gonna lie, because it is old and I've washed it so many times. But it's the only one that has this perfect, like, I don't know, it's like denseness but fluffiness at the same time. It's perfect. Sorry, but you'll see this brush more times than I will ever care to admit that I use it. It is probably an everyday brush, and I wash it every single week. So when I can't use it anymore, I'm going to be devastated because BH Cosmetics, if you didn't know, is going out of business. As far as I knew, the last time I knew, they're no longer selling this brush in the little set that I had, which makes me very sad. Okay, because believe me, after a while of me using this brush, I realized that this is one of the brushes that I tend to literally use every single time I put on makeup. So, we're going to go here. And we're just blending in circular motions, windshield wiper motions, anything that's going to be almost to the top of that eyebrow. I tend to go a little bit into this area right here, but I just want to blend it as much as you possibly can to get it like diffused. We're going to keep that brush to the side. We will use it again. All right, so now we're going to go in with a smaller, more domed brush. I just used this yesterday. So now we're going to go into the shade 9JA right here. Okay. So it's more on the oranger side, like orangey brown side. You get to tap it a little bit off, but Juvia's Place is, oh, yep, that's definitely, we got enough for both eyes. So I'll tend to just tap, tap, tap or press, tap and press, tap and press. We have enough for both eyes. So what I'm going to do now is stick this color directly into the crease. I mean, it's kind of like blending it, so it's going to go out naturally to that lighter shade. Okay. But we're just giving a little bit of dimension. And I promise eventually I will learn to edit so the videos aren't going to be, 40 minutes long. But this is an unedited version of makeup. This is what I would do on a live. You know what I mean? So nothing crazy. So now I'm going to take this shade again, or go back into Talking Drums, and we're going to make sure we're blending just a tap of Talking Drums. We're not getting like a lot of pigment onto the brush. We're just making sure that these colors coexist peacefully. And that's what we're doing. We're blending. The more you blend, the better you'll see things kind of like transition down. Okay. Now I might have to go into a different palette because they don't really have a lighter shade that will be like, unless I use, the one shade that I used from Maybelline. That would actually might work instead of getting a different palette. Well, let's go ahead and use that. We're going to take this on, excuse me, my nose is itching. We're going to take this on like a softer, this is e.l.f. This is the e.l.f. Professional Eyeshadow Brush. By the way, I will be a big proponent of Drugstore on this channel. I do have prestige or high-end, they say, products, but I will always reach for my tried and true. And right now you see that I am kind of reaching differently. Now, if you have any shades that are similar to this, you could do the same kind of look. Now, I do have a sort of hooded lid. Not crazy. It's more like I have jolting eyebrows, so they're a little further out, so my eyes sink in a little bit more. So, but we're going to make sure that we kind of blend that into that eyebrow shade. So now we're going to go into, I don't know, because there's not really another darker brown that is the way I want it. So let's go in with one of my favorites. The Jaclyn Hill Neutral Palette. Okay. I know a lot of people are going to see a lot of Jaclyn on my channel. It's because I like her quality of makeup. I do. I think that it's beautiful. I think she's beautiful. So I think a lot of people are beautiful. Who tends to be one of your favorite YouTubers? I have quite a few. So I'm going to go in the shade Booked right here. This one. Okay. And this is where I'm going to put this on my outer corner. Okay. So we're going to put this in my outer corner. We're going to tap it in. And we're going to go like midway into the eye. Now you'll see that it's going in to the crease and a little bit above it. That's what I want to see. So you do want to kind of have this color mix in with the others, but you don't want to go as high. You know what I mean? And you don't want it too dark. I don't want to have too dark of this, like outer corner. Nice little smoky moment. Same concept on the other side. Now you'll see I have a little bit of a line, or you could see like a little bit of harsh line there with this darker shade. And that's okay. We'll blend it out. Don't be afraid to use any color. There's no rules. I know everyone says there's rules in makeup. There's not. You do whatever makes you feel pretty. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. Like, you can put dark on all your lid and be perfectly fine. You could do however you feel pretty. Whatever makes you feel lovely is what you should do. Period. You know, people say, oh, you shouldn't put shimmers on your outer V. I do it all the time. People also say that you shouldn't bronze or have a lot of blush, but guess what? I'm the blush queen. You'll notice in a minute, believe me. Blush is, to me, gives absolute life to the face. So I don't know how people don't use blush. It freaks me out. Like, it really does. Like, I'm like, what? What do you mean? What? When I'm doing someone's makeup and they're like, I don't really use blush. I'm like, what? I'm sorry, so you want to look what? To me, it like gives complete life to the face. So if you are not a blush person, I'm probably not the one to watch. I'm telling you. I will blush the heck out of my face. And I will. And I don't have any regrets on it. I don't. I love it. Love it. All right, so now we will go back into the Culture palette. Okay, the Juvia's Culture palette, and we're going to put something on the inner corner. So let's find something that's going to be a little bit brightening. I want my eyes to be bright on the inner corner and a little bit darker on the outer corner, so like a little smoky moment. But I also want to bring light into the center of my face right here. So that would be the focal point. Focal, not vocal. No. Okay. Now, let me get a drink of water. All right. So I'm trying to decide on, let's see. That's gold. I do have like a rosy gold lettering. Let's go with gold. This is the shade Shona. Probably completely pronouncing that incorrectly. I'm so sorry. But I do believe it's I'm so sorry I knocked you out. Shona. I'll say Shona. Sounds beautiful. All right, so what I'm going to do, I use my pinky because that's the smallest finger on my hand. Holy Lord. Okay. All right, that's all right. So now I'm going to take my pinky and I'm going to tap into that darker color, but I'm not going to press it. I don't want the gold to be there like in the inner corner here. The inner corner is where I want it to be boom. Okay? But I want the gold to gradiently go into that darker color. So what I tend to do is I'll start tapping right around here. And if I do get it too far out, or if it looks too like structured, then we'll even it out with some blending. So now we're going to do the same thing over here. Inner corner is where I want most of that color to be, like way inner corner. And notice I do my eyes first for a reason. You see that? It's going to get down there no matter what I do because I have fat fingers. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to tap into this. And mind you, we're kind of trying to stick into that crease area. We're trying not to go above that crease. Okay? Now, if I can't get into that inner corner the way I want to, what I'll do is I'll get a nice, dense, this is actually probably a concealer brush, but whatever. It's a nice, dense, flat brush. Okay? I'm going to pick up that color on this brush here, and I'm going to start kind of pressing it where I know I need more color. Pavement. Yeah, pavement. Okay, so I kind of like where that's at, so I'm not going to do anything else. But I am going to take my darker brush, nothing else is on it, and I'm going to start tapping over where that gold meets the darker color, which was from the Jaclyn Hill shade in the shade Booked. That's in the Jaclyn Hill Morphe collab and Neutrals, I do believe, the Neutral palette. Okay, love it. All right, now, if you don't like this much of a brightness and you feel like you want to add liner, you can. I am not a big proponent of eyeliner. I never have been. First of all, I do suck at it. And I literally have to hold my breath and I cannot breathe. I'm like, it senses every bit of fear. Every bit of it. Okay? It really does. So what I tend to do is I'll take an angled brush, and if I feel like I want a little bit of detail, a little bit more, on that like lash line, take a nice angled brush, thin angled brush. You can go into a darker brown. I tend to use shadow for liner almost every single time. So you will see me do that. So I'm going to go into the neutral palette again. I'm going to go into Cinnamon Roll. That's the darkest brown we have in this palette here. I'm going to kind of flip, get the ends of my brush like saturated, and I'm going to kind of stick to that lash line. Now I tend to just press and move forward. Now if you are a little bit messy, that's okay. It doesn't, the cool thing about this kind of liner with shadow is it's kind of forgiving because it's so like smooth, but yet it's there. But it's a little more forgiving because it's not so solid, not so pigmented, not so boom in your face. That's what I like. However, another reason I don't like eyeliner like that, and you'll most likely never see me use a black liner in my waterline, is because it tends to make my eyes really red. So now what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I got what pigment I want, where I want it, and I think I did. That's it. Just a little something. Let's give them a little bit more detail, a little bit more depth to that lash line than just that brightness. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing over here. Get real close to that lash line. If you blank, it's okay. And like I said, if it's messy, that's okay. You just got to keep trying to where you're comfortable with something that is so close to your eye. You know, it just takes a minute. I do think I want a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. And believe me, whatever you can't do or you feel like you messed up, or it's too thick. Let's say it's too thick. Your mascara is going to cover it. Your lashes or whatever. If you're real good with lashes or just mascara. I tend to reach for my mascara over lashes any day of the week. Especially when you have a good mascara. Part of you. When you have a good mascara. Okay? Alright, so eyes, done for now. Okay? I'm not going to do much more. I'm going to make sure I blend some of that shade that's like a lighter shade on my brow bone. Done. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this real quick. I tend to try to keep my area as clean as possible as I'm doing this. It doesn't always happen. Okay? It's probably going to look like a tornado by the end of it, but that's okay too. Okay. So now that we have that completed, we're going to move on to the face. Okay? Now, mind you, I'm not going to clean this up underneath here. I'm just going to put out matte. I mean, you can. And I tend to use baby wipes. I use the fresh, the one that has paraffin free. It's like, they're from the dollar store. And if you want to, you're just going to kind of tap right there. Get that gold out from underneath that eye. If you want to put it in there afterwards, you can. But let's keep it clean for now. Okay? So today what I'm going to use is my two favorite concealers of all time, which is the ColourPop concealers. ColourPop concealers, pretty fresh concealer, the hyaluronic creamy concealer. The best concealer. I love it so much. And it's like $8. I think $7. $7 or $8. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. It gives me the coverage I need. It gives me the dewiness, because you don't want your eyes to feel cakey or crepey or anything like that. So this is the concealer for you. I'm using medium 85N and light 60N. So neutrals. So I'm going to go with light first. I'm going to tend to put the light right here. And then up like that. Okay. And then same over here. Up like that. Kind of get a nice mix of it. I'm not going to put anything on my lower. I tend sometimes to put like this in medium down here, where like I get a little bit more red, or I want a little more coverage, stuff like that. So we'll take my beauty sponge. This is a Real Technique sponge, and I'm going to kind of just start tapping as gentle as possible. You don't want to tug on your under eye. Now, normally, if I have a concealer like the Born This Way New Hyaluronic or Dewy Under Eye Concealer, I'll use my finger. Or I will use a nice brush. But a sponge that's not really wet is the really way to go. It's literally, when it says damp, it almost feels dry. That's the kind of sponge you want. You know what I mean? That's the kind of dampness you want in your sponge, especially with creamy concealers. Now you'll see here is my psoriasis here, and then right here is my psoriasis on this eye. So when I start to press powder in it, or if I go to set it, that is what you're going to see. You're going to see the powder cling to a little bit of those powder, like patches on my face. Completely normal. Now, I'm going to go in with my stick foundation, pardon me. I'm going to use the e.l.f. Complexion Duo brush. I'm going to go like this, a little bit like that. And I'm going to press this into my cheeks. So if I want just a little bit of coverage, because I do not wear foundation, this is what I do. And I tend to only put it in this area, because this is the area that is like a little bit more noticeable to me when I do pictures. And then you see how I have this picture, or this little spot here still. I'll kind of take my dual part. This is really nice for concealer, making sure that you can tap it in. But I don't really use foundation. So I don't really use foundation because I really don't need it with the amount of other products I have on my face. Because I will powder my face, I will bronze my face, I will blush my face. So by the end of that, it looks like I have foundation on, because I don't really need it. No one really needs full coverage. I'm going to tell you that. I am not a full coverage queen. I am so sorry. I'm just not. I believe that your natural skin is beautiful, so you need to show it. Now, if I feel if it's too dark or a little bit too thick, I tend to just go right over it with my beauty sponge anyway, because I want it to be flawlessly on there and pressed in. Perfect. Okay. Now, we're going to go in with, let's do the Milani liquid contour. I tend to like this one a lot. I'm just going to do I don't want a lot on my, yeah, I don't really like a lot. Now, I tend to go where my cheekbones enter. Like you'll see like that little indent. That's where I tend to put this at. And same, like I'm kind of like running, like I don't want a lot of product. So I don't tend to, I want a little here, a little here. I know, I had that little bit of the double chin. Whatever. And I have a different brush that I'll use for that. Same. I love the e.l.f. Duo brushes for any complexion. I'm telling you right now, if you are to blend anything in with these, it's the way to go. It's the way to go. Now I tend to press in and kind of drag up, but not really, but I'm more pressing than anything. You know what I mean? I'm more pressing that product into the skin than moving it around. I'm not going like this, because if I do, I'm kind of wiping off the whole product anyway. You know what I'm saying? Press it in. There's a piece of psoriasis, a piece. Spot of psoriasis here. My face does tend to get a little psoriasis. And we're just going to press, press, press. Make sure it's nice and blended. And I tend to go upwards when I'm pressing on my contour sides. Yep. And then down here, I do tend to press, but I tend to swipe as well because I don't want it to be real noticeable down there. I'm not really, first of all, I'm not really trying to hide anything. It is, my face is what it is. You know what I mean? I have a double chin, that's what it is. Now I'll use the end of the small one, and I'm going to do the same concept, okay? I'm going to blend this in. I tend to go up toward my brows a little bit, but I'm doing light, real light motions there, okay? Definitely see a line there, and that's okay, okay? We'll fix it. You don't want to be too noticeable of a line. You know, you don't want that. And then we'll take whatever's left on that brush right down in the end. But we want light strokes here. We're not pressing. We're just kind of lightly going. And then whatever you want, you could press in like this. And you're good. Now, let's see. I'm looking in my mirror on this side. I seem to be fine. Blended, that's fine with me. I'm not adding too much more of that. I'm not a huge contouring type of girl. Now, oops. Let me see. I'm going to grab one of the putty blushes. I'm going to do the Luminous Putty Blush from e.l.f. They're beautiful. Now, a lot of people are going to be intimidated by this shade here, which is, let's see, what is it? Oh, Isla del Sol. Don't quote me on that. I tend to just take it on my hand and I'm going to press it first onto my cheekbones. I'm going to do my nose as well. I do a little bit on my forehead, on my chin, and I'm going to press a little bit more on the apples of my cheeks. Yes, I know, looks a little crazy right now, and that's okay. Another beautiful thing about these duo complexion brushes, I have about 6. I use them a lot for cream products, a lot. So this is my blush one, and I'm gonna just start tapping, going around in a circle, tapping. Notice I have not set my under eye yet. I'm not going to set my under eye yet because I don't want to set it when I have powder and cream products being mixed. So we want to make sure we're sticking to cream first and then we'll set. Now tell me that is not beautiful. It's gorgeous. I'll do your center of your nose. Tap, tap, tap in. Perfect. Forehead, tap, tap, tap in. I tend to put blush anywhere where sun would naturally hit my face. Since I have high cheekbones and my nose and cheeks tend to get the most sun. But see how not intimidating that was? And it blends out like a dream. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Now I do have the Luminous. I forget about these too. I forget about the Luminous putty bronzers. I have both of the Luminous and just regular. But I forget about those sometimes. So, but we're not using those today. Okay. So now I'm going to set my under eyes and my face with my favorite powder of all time. Favorite powder of all time. It's this one right here. Oh, it's this one right here. The Revlon Candid powder. It is phenomenal. Oh, It's so good. I don't know how people are not talking about this the way they should, because this sucker, whoo, it blurs, it covers, it's long lasting, it looks beautiful. So I'm going to use a powder puff right here. I do believe this one's used. I used it yesterday, so I'm going to have to just get over that one. Okay, so now we're going to go in. Now see, my eyes are already creasing under here. Like I said, oily mess. So we're going to tap out, press up. Tap out, press up. There we go. Now we're going to take this and we're going to kind of put this powder on the back of our hands, but then we're going to press that in to our under eye. Are you kidding? I'm telling you, no one can tell me anything different about this powder. I mean, oh, it's flippin' good. It's so good. Now see how I put a little bit right there? So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit into that inner corner. Now I have some still on the back of my hand. I'm going to use whatever's there. I'm going into that nose crease there because I will definitely get oily there. And then we're going to press into our pore area. Okay. Tell me. It's gorgeous. I know. It's such a beautiful powder. And it doesn't really take a lot to, like, do what you need to do. And I will just kind of, whatever's up on my hand, because I have been, you kind of want to warm it up. I hate to say warm it up, but that's what I say. You want to warm the powder up. You don't want to stick like a whole puff of powder in your face. First of all, you're going to have a shit ton of fallout. Pardon my French. But you're also wasting your product. And this way, you're getting everything that you need to. So I bronze down here. So I want to make sure that I get down there too. That's it. That is it. That's all I'm doing there. We'll put that back on. I have lots of good, like, powders that I love. I'm not going to lie to you. But this one is the one that I always come back to. That's the one. It's the one. Now, I will bronze up a little bit more because, hello, you lose a little bit of that, don't you? All right, so now I'm going to use something that I absolutely adore. It's another Revlon product, actually. It's the Revlon Skin Lights Bronzer in the shade Sunlit Glow. Now, this is luminous. So if you do not like a luminous kind of, I would say, bronze, then this would not be for you. But I'm going to tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to press, press, press. Same. Stick it to above here, not down here. Okay? You want to lift your face, not. And I'm just going to powder my nose, just like, I have no, when I contour my nose, I'm not really a pro at that. First of all, I just am not. And second of all, when I try to do it like in a rough contour, like an actual contour, I'm sorry, it makes me look like I don't do the whole powder and baking on the face. So I'm like, nope, we gotta blend that out. We blending that out. So now I'm gonna, that's my content of bronzing / contouring. I'm gonna go in with my favorite blush of all time. I will tell you this over and over again. e.l.f. has some of the most amazing products you'll ever find. And they are affordable. And they perform better than most high-end products. So do not get into the hype of thinking you need something that is over. No, you just don't. So, like, this is my favorite one of all time. This is the Always Rosy one. But since we used a little bit of the oranger powder bronzer or blush, I'm going to use this one here. Now, these are in the range of the primer infused blushes. This one is in the shade Always Cheeky. Okay, so this one has some luminosity to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab my blush brush. I have an angled blush brush. A lot of people don't use angled brushes. They use flat. I use that as well. Like I said, I am a blush person. So this may be intimidating to you. To me, it is not. Blush is my... if there was one thing that you would see me wearing daily, it would be concealer, mascara, and blush. That's it. I mean, and maybe some brow, like whatever that was. This, I'll put this in my brow. Nothing else. Just done. So, all right. There we go. Beautiful. Love it. All right, now. So we're complete with the face now. I don't know if everyone likes highlight or not, but I'm going to do a little highlighty. That is one thing I do love. Highlight I have in blush. I do have quite a bit of highlights. I did get the Pat McGrath. This is going to be the expensive part. Sorry. I did get the Pat McGrath Bridgerton collaboration highlighter. And it looks like this. It's gorgeous. It's literally got gold. It's like a gold like thing going on with it. However, I'm going to put this in my inner corner first. Okay, I'm going to use a nice small pencil brush. And what we're going to do is go right in this inner corner. And I kind of swirl it up toward my like little dip there. So we're going to brighten that inner corner up just even more. Ever so slightly. But we're bringing this into this dip and going into that crease. Like, kind of, yeah, see? That's what I'm saying. Doing the same thing over here. Now I tend to swirl a highlighter into the inner corner. So you're getting more of a payoff. Okay. Yes, okay. I want a little bit more like in like this area. There we go. I'm not gonna put this on my I'm not gonna put this on my face. I tend to use a lot of highlighters in my inner corner. That's where you'll see me use a lot of highlighting. Now I will use Luminoso blush to highlight. Okay, so we're gonna do this, and you'll see this luminosity just start coming right out, like just there we go. Same, and it's gonna give that luminosity more glow. I'll do my nose. See, oh my, yes, okay. Do a little bit on my forehead. Perfect. Yes, okay. Speaking of brows, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more brow mascara. That's what I call it. Brow mascara into the brows. There we go. Now that we're done with blush, we're done with bronzer, we're going to do the under eye now, okay? Now, the under eye can be a little bit tricky. I tend to use a lot of nudes in my waterline. just because I think that looks really nice and it opens up the eye. So this one is from, I do believe, Maybelline. Nope, L'Oreal Infallible. There we go. It just kind of opens it up a little bit. Makes it a little bit more wide-eyed, literally. Okay. And now we're going to do the under eye. We're going to smoke out that lash line. We're going to use the same colors, but we're only going to use the first color, the first two colors. So we're going to use Talking Drums and 9JA in the Juvia palette. Okay. So what we need is a nice pencil brush like this. So I like mine to be a little bit fatter. Okay. I'm going to tap off that and I'm going to go underneath that lash line. I'm going to get pretty close to that lash line, but I'm going a little bit further. Okay. Same over here. Whenever I do this, I feel like I'm literally have to concentrate so hard. I'm like, oh, don't poke yourself out. And if I want to go, I don't know if I want to add the oranger color. I think I'm going to stick with this and just bring it a little bit further down. Yep, that's what I want to do. Okay, so we're going to leave that alone. All right. Ooh. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and do my lips. So I'm going to use the LA Girl Perfect Precision Lip Liner in the shade Sugar and Spice. And everything nice. Now, let me go ahead and take my little napkin. Get all the little crusts off my lips. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to lip line. I do not overline my lips. I have big enough ones. I do know, however, that this side of my lip is a little bit funkier than this side. So I'm like, huh, that's kind of strange. And I'll kind of feather this in from the corners into toward like the center. And I'll bring the Cupid's bow down a little bit more orangey than I thought. But I kind of love a peachy nude. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, my favorite right now, and I know this is a thing on TikTok. I know. However, I knew about these before TikTok ever happened. All right? Well, before it happened on TikTok. These are the Revlon Super Lustrous Shine lips. Now, I'll tell you right now, Revlon, they have my heart. Okay? They have my heart when it comes to, well, my favorite powder of all time. But their lip products are what? What, are you kidding me? Look at this. What? Oh, hello. Beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're stunning. Stunning. Okay. Sorry. I wanted to tell you that this is in the shade Nude Illuminator. See, like that peachy color I dig, especially on lighter skins like mine. I'm sure it looks beautiful on darker skins too. So darker skin tones. All right. So my favorite 2 setting mists. Well, first of all, I'm out of my e.l.f. one, but I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Pro Hydro Matte Fixing Spray. But first, you want to use a setting spray first. So, I'm going to use my Make It Last setting spray by Milani. Okay. And the reason why, there's 2 sets here. Setting it, and then you're fixing it. You're setting it in place, and then you're fixing it in place. Understand? Does that make sense? So I was reading, and then I took this little master class in makeup on like this, I want to say, oh goodness, and now I can't think of her name, but she told me, she was like, told us that this was, you need to set it, then fix it. I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. And by golly, it works. It works. Your makeup ain't going nowhere. So now we're going to set it. Set it. I'm going to fan myself here. Now, I tend to use like a, whatever, like foundation brush or a sponge. But I tend to brush. If I have a brush, I'm going to start tapping this set into my skin. Like that. Woo! And now I'm going to fix it with this. So this is the Hydro Matte Fixing Spray. This has hyaluronic acid and vitamin E. This also just kind of keeps your face, it doesn't make it look so matte, but it doesn't make it look shiny. Like it's not luminous, but it's not like you're dull. You know what I mean? You're not flat. You know what I'm saying? So this spray though, the only thing I will tell you, it's aggressive. Okay? It's aggressive. So you're going to go far out. Far. And your face should feel wet. That's the point. Now, I tend to close my eyes or go down with my eyes like this. So just because I did spray something wet on my face, I don't want my shadows to crease. Now I will do the same thing with this here. I will start tapping around where I feel most of the moisture to make sure that it's locking in where I need it to lock or fix in. Done. Okay. So now my next is, and final step, are my mascara. Is my mascara. So my mascara right now, my favorite mascara is by L'Oreal. L'Oreal came out with a new telescopic lash. It's Telescopic Lift, and this is in the shade Black Brown. And ladies and gents, this is phenomenal. Okay, I'm just going to let you watch. First of all, my eyelashes. Okay. Now, this automatically like lifts them. Like it's nuts. What's cool is the wand about this. So it has like this flat side. See? You use that part first, but then you turn it and you see these little bristles on the side like a comb. You're going to go through your lashes so you can get them all coated, but spread out as well. What? I mean, I haven't been able to set this one down. I'm not going to lie to you. And I am a true Essence girl when it comes to mascara. I do love my Essence mascaras. But this one, This one is given it for a run for its money. If I can speak. And it just gives you like this beautiful lash that looks natural, but so full and long and length. Like it's got the length and the volume to it, which I really like. I'm just going to try to do this real quick so you can see. I tend to get on a very lash line, wiggle, then pull up. Except in my inner corner. I'll get a little crazy there. And I tend to get mascara on my lids no matter what. I mean, do I have any other girls like that? Let me tell you, no matter what I do. I'm like, oh, lovely. And then we're going to take the sides and comb through so it separates them. And tell me, do you have one lash that always just looks better than the other? Tell me. I mean, do you? Am I the only one? I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one. I literally feel like sometimes this lash over here wants to try my damn patience. I'm telling you. Although I feel like L'Oreal, to be a drugstore, I mean, y'all need a, you're a drugstore brand. Calm it down. Why is your price so damn high? This was $17. I mean, it's only $3 less than a dang Too Faced mascara. Ma'am? All right. So this is my final look. This is it. I started out, well, let's clean my nose ring here. I tend to just use my finger. Swipe. There we go. That's it. So here I am. No filters here, by the way. I don't know how to use them. So even if there was, I don't know what I'd be doing. So anyway, final look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a long video, but if you stuck around, leave me a comment. I love you guys so much. Thanks, and you guys will be seeing me soon. Bye.